and welcome to another episode of Funny Talk with Mangelli and Max. I'm Tom Mangelli. This is my co-host, Doug Max. Say hi, Doug.
Hey, Tom. I'm not going to say, hey, Doug. How are you?
Good, good.
You're not
Feeling
good.
well.
You're not
Feeling
good.
well considering.
Yeah, and you're not good.
No, not on paper anyway.
I guess we should talk about how you're not good first to really.
Yeah.
No, we should do our sponsor first. We should be upbeat. We should do something a little upbeat, a little bit first to suck people in, to make them want to listen to us. Like, I could share my bolognese recipe. That might be exciting for people.
Okay.
Tom, I might have to leave in the middle of the show.
Why?
And go and stir my bolognese and come back. So we're going to be talking about it at some point in the show. We've got plenty of time. We might as well talk about.
Now, for those uninitiated listening and watching, how does bolognese sauce differ from, say, a plain marinara sauce?
Because I have meat in it. I have ground beef.
Okay.
So I have sautéed sweet onions in olive oil, the appropriate olive oil, not the dark green one, the rich yellow, not the light yellow, the rich yellow olive oil,
okay.
with salt and pepper, half a big sweet onion, sautéed that for a couple minutes, added ground beef after dabbing off the blood on both sides of it with a paper towel. You do that.
What are you dabbing?
The blood off the ground beef when I open up the package.
I can't say that I have.
Okay, I'm OCD about everything I can possibly be. This
now,
is
does it have to be ground beef? Could it be like monkey meat or anything?
Monkey meat is horrible, Tom. And you should soak it the night before in buttermilk if you're going to use monkey meat.
Okay. Good
but
to
not
know.
The lemur, not the lemur. The lemur is fine. I found brandy works good with lemur, but I have used they have a package of they call it meat. I think it's a meatloaf mix of ground pork, beef, and
veal.
No, lamb.
Oh, that too.
Pork, beef, and I'm pretty sure it's lamb. Yeah. So I've done my bolognese with that. So and then I brown the beef. Add a little more salt and pepper as I go, and it is Himalayan pink salt. Ground, freshly ground. What do I do next? So after the meat is browned, tonight I added a big can of crushed tomatoes, whatever I got, a big can of tomatoes. And then I start seasoning. So I added a little sugar, maybe a tablespoon or two.
Really?
Raw sugar, Tom. More pepper. Then I started going through my hot chili flakes, ground red pepper, like on a pizza.
Mm-hmm.
What do you call that? There's got to be a better. Who?
Just hot pepper.
Hot pepper. Ground. I hated doing it. Ground garlic. I'm sorry, Italian people. Onion powder, even though I had onions in. A little bit of ginger.
Okay.
Just so people go, huh? What? It adds a little, I don't know, je ne sais quoi. However you say je ne sais quoi in Indian or Chinese.
I don't know.
Ginger. And then I added a little curry. So I've brought in the Asian flavors.
Wow.
To make the Italians go, hey, am I fucking tasting curry in this bolognese?
Forget about it.
Anyway, so it's all I think I've remembered everything. Did I add anything else? I've added grape jelly, like a teaspoon of that.
Get out of here.
I'm serious.
Grape jelly.
Tom, it's cooking for 2 hours. So it's sweet. It's grapes. You know, people add wine. You know, I don't really keep red wine around, and red cooking wine is horrible. I heard a chef talk about saying he wouldn't. He said something about, you know, I've been buying red cooking wine and white cooking wine. You know, it's whatever it is. It must be horrible wine. But he said he would never cook with anything he couldn't drink. And I never thought about it before, but you know, yeah.
You know, having been an avid cook myself in the past, I've never used any kind of sugar or sweeteners in a tomato sauce, gravy. Always basil was the only thing to sweeten it.
Yeah, I'm not big on a lot of herbs, to be honest. This is my Jewish bolognese.
I'm talking fresh basil, not the.
I might be growing some fresh basil this year. Is that what you make a pesto out of?
Yeah,
Yeah.
you should. It's good. It's good for you too.
Is it?
Yeah.
What other vegetables can I grow that are good for me? I don't have a lot more room, but so far the list is like tomatoes, cucumbers. Yeah, I'm gonna forget the list. Stephanie has a list of like eight different things that I need.
My family always did well with zucchini, eggplant, tomatoes, parsley. Parsley is a good staple.
I want to grow that and cilantro.
I hate cilantro.
Okay, well, you don't have to come and look at my garden. Do you
That's
really in a guacamole? You know,
I'll have it if I have to because it's traditional. But if I was making the guacamole myself or say a salsa, I wouldn't use it. I don't use it in my chili.
would you use parsley?
Yeah,
You would.
Yeah.
But would you? I mean, not. I mean, would you want to?
yeah.
Okay. Okay, go on.
And cilantro is deceptively similar in looks to parsley. So I've made that mistake a few times.
No, you know, if you look at it closely, it looks back at you funny. That's how you can tell cilantro.
Yeah. But anyway, we started to mention our sponsor. I would like to pick up.
Am I done cooking?
I
do
don't
it
know, we
over
can-
linguine fini. I
Oh,
do it all over linguine fini. That's
I heard that about you. But let's take a break. We'll go back. We'll go back to cooking later. I want to mention our sponsor, J. Irwin Productions. If you need to put together a comedy show for a fundraiser, a private party, a corporate event, a restaurant showcase, you need to contact Jack at jirwinproductions.com. He's the guy. He's the hookup. He'll get you a great show that people will be talking about for weeks later. Right, Doug?
yeah. And if we find out through association sometime in the future that you had a comedy show and you did not write to Jack at jirwinproductions.com, Tom and I will make it a point to find out who you are, where you live. And together, Tom and I will arrange a fruit basket and leave it on your doorstep. So you will feel with a note that says, yeah, next time book jirwinproductions.com.
And we'll have cilantro all over.
That's how you know it. That's how you know it will be us. Is there, you know, when Italians want to send an evil message, they send a fish in the mail? Is that
Well,
traditional among your people, Tom?
Luca Brasi sleeps with the fishes. That was the message in The Godfather.
So was that, do you know this to be true? Like, has anybody in your family gotten the fish in the mail?
I have no direct experience that I know of with the fish.
Before my father died, it was maybe a week before he died, we got a fish in the mail. It was a lox and bagel package from Zabar's.
Uh-huh.
It was the last thing he ate.
Very, very different message than Luca Brasi.
Was it, did you think it needs to be a particular species of fish to get, I mean, if it's a rainbow trout, I'm going to go, wow, thank you. Honey, get the olive oil, not run. So, a fillet of sole wouldn't really, it would mail well.
But it'll probably be like a cheaper, inexpensive fish, like a moss bunker or something.
I've never heard of a moss bunker.
Well, they use them as bait when you go crabbing.
Huh. I used
And
to go crabbing. Did you know
yeah,
about my crabbing days?
that's when you chase those floozies in college.
No, it was the day I was complaining a lot. I went crabbing with my father and grandfather. I want to, it was somewhere down the shore. I don't know where you go crabbing. Could it have been up Shark River? Because I know we went fishing in
Could have
Shark.
been any of those tributaries. You can catch crabs.
So we spent all day in a rowboat. I think we caught 3 crabs, but they were too small and fell through the net.
Oh yeah, those
Like
are
maybe we ended up with 1 or 2 that were legal.
yeah.
And on the way home, we bought a bushel of crabs. My dad said, we're going to trick mom and tell her we caught them. And it took me a while, but my mom knew right away that we had bought them. And I realized
Really?
years later, it was probably the bushel. If you're
Okay.
going to buy a bushel of crabs to fake it, we didn't go out with a bushel, right?
Just a peck.
Yeah, you pick up, I don't know, you pick up a trash bag or paper bags or something, you put them in. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah. Cooler.
Yeah, I would have been, if I wanted to hide the truth from my ex, I would have been much better at being deceitful.
Yeah. Now I went crabbing a few times this past summer, and I had a couple other comics join me in my crabbing expedition.
Tom, I want to go crabbing with you. I forget.
Do you?
I do someday. I forget what it was the other time you asked me. But I think it was the thought of being in a boat with you, nothing personal.
Yeah, yeah, I can see that.
So
but anyway, timing is the key with crabbing. You have to go at the right time of year. Typically, the middle to end of August is the best time. You get the best crabs, the biggest crabs. I went later and kind of missed the boat, so to speak. No pun intended. We caught 1 crab that's still in my Uncle Sal's freezer with the other ones we caught during the summer.
I'm worried that if I go crabbing with you, the boat is going to miss me as it goes under. Tom, can I ask you, can you describe you're in a rowboat?
Rowboat with a motor.
Oh, with a motor.
Yeah.
And where are you situated in the rowboat?
Well, typically I would be at the motor driving, but this last couple of times I went, I was at the opposite end, the bow.
Could you see how that might make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. I think I would enjoy that. Although I'd love a GoPro to fly alongside of us to film the entire thing.
Oh, that would be interesting.
And I'm going to see if I have I don't have a life vest, but I do have my scuba diving buoyancy compensator, which looks like a vest.
Well, when you rent the boat, they give you the life vests.
I've got a scuba tank.
We're going to be in water like 6 feet deep.
But for the video, Tom.
Oh, okay.
For the production with the GoPro flying alongside of us, and you'll be yelling at me, why do you have the scuba tank and buoyancy compensator? Is it because you're in a boat? No, Tom. Why is it?
The ripples.
Listen, I tease you about your weight for some reason.
Some reason.
You look great. I think the taking off the beard, you look great. Your diet is working. I love your new hairdo. All the ladies have been writing us, as you know. They love your hairdo too.
Now, some of the weight loss was due to illness, though. I have to admit.
I'm aware. So we have not talked about, we should talk about depressing times now. So, Tom, you are a COVID survivor.
COVID survivor. I'm still recuperating. I'm not back at work yet.
You were in the hospital?
It's in the hospital 5 days on an IV drip, couple of IV drips. And
did they yell at you to get off?
That was Jenny Craig. In the 5 days I was in the hospital, I lost 15, 20. How much did I lose? 15 pounds in 5 days.
Wow. So, Tom, what are you going to get next to get you back to the hospital?
I don't know. I was in the hospital in January with cellulitis.
How much did you lose then?
I didn't lose.
Oh, no weight?
Actually, no, I lost a couple.
What we need to do is, obviously the diets haven't been working too well for you, Tom. So we need to come up with a new protocol of like near death experiences for you that are survivable, but require you're staying in the hospital.
Okay. Well, you know why I'm losing weight? Because one, I'm diabetic. I'm on a strict diet to keep my blood sugar down. And because they had me on steroids, it jacked up my blood sugar to begin with. So I was extra, I can't think of words.
Susceptible.
Well,
to bad diet.
I was trying even harder to keep the blood sugar down. Yeah. But the dietary department kept sending me foods that I couldn't eat, even if I wasn't diabetic. Like, why send a diabetic Lorna Doone cookies and peanut butter? You don't do that. And then you don't send a fat guy desserts and expect him not to eat it. Well, anyway, graham crackers, sugary fruit cups in syrup. They sent my last day there. They sent me an Italian ice with what's the sugar that they use?
Corn sugar.
Corn syrup. Corn syrup is the second ingredient. You don't eat that stuff as a diabetic. It's bad enough as non-diabetic. And they kept sending me like carbs. I stay away from carbs. They kept sending me rice and potatoes and breads and the pancakes for breakfast, Rice Krispies. So
I would love it there.
Of the food they sent me, I was eating like a little iota. So like a third of the calories that they were prescribing to me as a dietary department. So I had to lose weight.
Tom, the way you describe the food at the hospital, I want to go to the hospital.
Oh, the food was pretty good.
Actually. Did you save me any Lorna Doones, my friend?
I do have one pack of Lorna Doones. I'll give you next time I see you. Yeah.
So listen, I want to do, this is inappropriate for a comedy show, but we're not being that funny. So I want to send a shout out to a good friend of ours who lost his son the last few days. And I can't imagine the pain that somebody feels. I can kind of imagine it because I lost my brother when I was very young. So I saw it through my parents. And right. Anyway, for those listening, you can send out positive vibrations to my friend and just help him get better if you believe in that sort of thing. Can't hurt, right?
Can't hurt. And I know it's a devastating thing when a parent loses a child. My parents lost my sister at 5 years old, and it just changed the dynamics of the whole family.
Yeah, for me it was I was 10, he was 8. So how old were you at the time, Tom?
I was 4.
Oh. So you remember kind of probably very little, but
no, I remember a lot actually.
Do you?
Yeah.
Wow.
But anyway.
Oh, so so I was thinking about tonight, and honestly, I'm going to a funeral tomorrow, and it's been dominating my thoughts. And I thought, what are we gonna do for a show tonight? And it got me thinking about food because one, I've got to stir the bolognese, and two, I know it's something you're familiar with without having to prep for. Although if you want a good meal, you need to prep, So I thought we might talk about foods that bring us comfort.
That's a good topic.
It is. So listen, I I'm I love what I did in the kitchen there. And I've probably eaten half of it, but it's still cooking. So
Uh,
would you care to offer a recipe? We'll go back and forth and see how long we can keep it.
well, unfortunately, with the diet I'm on now, most of my comfort foods I can't eat anymore. Like I used to love eating rice, just rice with butter.
Me too. And salt.
You know, and salt. Right. Another thing I used to love eating, and again, it was a comfort thing, pastina. I don't know if you're familiar with.
Carbohydrates. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I can't eat any of that stuff.
My ex used to make pastina, the soup. I guess it's a chicken soup. Like chicken,
Right.
It's like matzo ball soup with little square pastas. Yeah.
Right. Or a lot of times just pastina with the butter and a little salt.
Your mom used to make that for you, right? Pastina?
Whenever I was sick. So it always gave me that comfort.
And it cooks in 2 minutes.
It's
I
very
think it's
quick.
the quickest cooking pasta, other than like fresh pasta.
Right. Fresh pasta cooks real quick.
Yeah.
Yep.
Doug, how do you know that? You're Jewish. Hey, my ex was Italian.
But you're an impasta. But
when we were running in Italy, since you called me an impasta, when we were running in Italy, we were in Italy walking in the old village from my ex, Ariano Irpino. High, it's a village of 20,000, high atop a village. It's the entire town, and so her relatives, she was from there, so her relatives were all in town still, and we were walking in the town, and I guess her nephew, who was 8 or 9, Francesco, was running and behaving badly, and his mother yelled out "basta," but I heard "pasta," and I'm thinking, my hearing wasn't any better, but I'm thinking that's really a clever Italian way to get kids to slow down and stop. You give them. It turned out it didn't mean that.
No, it means enough or stop.
Yeah. Anyway, Tom, life for me, you may have discovered, it's a lot more entertaining when I hear it through the lens of my bad ears, because I can make things both resolve and be funny at the same time, even if they're not true.
Now, what are some of your comfort foods?
So Luxenkugel, Luchen, Luxen Kugel, Kugel.
So it's some kind of pasta.
It's a noodle casserole.
Okay.
And I'll give you the recipe. And this is almost identical recipe from both my grandmothers, and I learned it from them. So you make whatever it is, 12 ounces or a pound of noodles, and you cook it al dente. And you mix together 3 or 4 eggs, 3 with 12 ounces, 4 with the 16 pound of noodles. Whip that together with as much or as little sugar as you like. So eggs and sugar. What else am I adding in there? I'm probably adding salt. And then I'm taking almost a whole stick of butter for a pound of noodles. Stop listening, Tom. 3/4 of a stick of butter, and I'll soften that in the microwave for 30 seconds. Noodles come out. I melt the butter, them in butter. Then I add, I will add a variety of different things, but it's often like half a package of cream cheese, which I've also taken out and softened, and maybe a 1/4 to 1/3 of a cup of sour cream, maybe more, but you want it wet. And I will add that. And then the egg and sugar mixture is the final thing. Some Jews will add cinnamon. I don't know why they add cinnamon. I don't know how cinnamon has anything.
Cinnamon is very good for you.
Well, I I don't care for it that much, but you can add cinnamon. You can add fruit. All fruits don't work. I normally don't. You can make this a little more savory. You can use cottage cheese, sour cream, cream cheese, um, or any combination thereof. And you throw it in an oven and bake it for at 350 for 45 minutes.
And what's it called again?
Luxenkugel.
Luxenkugel.
Luxenkugel. Yep. Noodle casserole.
Okay.
I don't know what if it translates, but
Now as far as taste, what would you compare it to?
Tom, I put so much love in my kugel. I would compare it to making love in the moonlight with corn syrup.
Okay.
And carbohydrates. What are you doing, Doug? Well, I'm smearing you with rice and honey. Why are you doing that? Oh, it's the ancient Jewish holiday of Tisha B'Av. Bullshit. That's the second day of fasting. You don't think I know what Tisha B'Av is?
Yeah, but
this would be a good time. Oh, it was a lull. I was going to say this would be a good time for people that want to stop listening to stop listening. And then,
oh, I think that ship has sailed. Now, you obviously notice I shaved off my beard. This is my first public appearance without my my hair wig, my face wig.
What compelled you?
Well, in the hospital, I didn't shave for the whole 5 days, and when I got home, I looked like what was the guy? Grizzly Adams. Remember Grizzly Adams?
Yeah.
And I'm like, I can't take it anymore, and I just like.
You know what stops me is the third or fourth day when it gets so itchy. But I've been using an electric razor, so I haven't been shaving all the way down. So I just live with it between. Now I live with it between, essentially 2 to 4 or 5 days growth. But then it starts getting 2, and
yeah, right now I'm at like 2.5 days after I shave. I can't decide if I want to grow it back or not. I have a show Friday and Saturday at Scotty's. And I don't know if I should go clean shaven. I look like a 10-year-old, first day of school.
Dress up in a schoolboy outfit like was it Luther from Abbott and Costello, the spoiled kid?
Stinky.
In the Stinky. Dress up like Stinky in those short little capri pants with suspenders and a blouse top, a sailor outfit, and a hat.
Yeah, that'll go over.
Tom, you do that, and I'll find my way to Scotty's. I'm just still worried at how many people are not going to get a vaccine when they can. Ironically, you've gotten your vaccine essentially.
No, I haven't gotten it.
No, but you got COVID. So you got
the antibodies.
You made it. You effectively gave yourself your own first shot.
Right.
So you're well.
The bad part is I can't get my second shot for 90 days, or would be my first shot actually.
Because and that's why they separate the first from the second. And the people that are having the symptoms with the second are having it because the first shot gave them the antibodies that they built up. And then you get the second shot, and now the body's like, oh no, COVID, and it makes you sick. And that's why. So they also say that people that get sick from the first vaccine, it's probably because they had COVID before.
And didn't even know it.
So I hope you do well with it, Tom. But let me know when you're going to get it, and I'll send you matzo. I'll make you matzo ball soup. No, that's not good for you.
Actually,
that's another comfort soup.
It's one for me too. I used to get it at diners all the time.
Really?
Matzo ball soup, yeah.
Did you ever have your mom and dad look at you like they're gonna think we're Jewish?
I was never with them. I wouldn't do that to them. It was always late at night after.
Would that have embarrassed them ordering matzo ball soup if you were around?
Yeah.
What are you doing?
If you have a ball in your soup, it's meat.
How about I got a bowl on my knees? I mean, a bolognese.
Oh my God.
Tom, can you
And this
think?
has been Funny Talk with Mangelli and Max. Thanks for tuning in.
Don't you remember the peek at the knees thing from
Pekingese.
peek at the knees? Peek at the knees. Peek. What kind of dog was it? Who was doing it? Harpo. Harpo was doing it. He was telling Chico about a woman with a peek at the knees dog. Do you remember that scene?
They did a lot of wordplay. I love that. I love those guys.
Well, they did a lot of work at it, though. You know, they did it well. You do it well too, Tom. Unfortunately, people these days, they know very, very few words. So you're limited. You know, if you want to broaden your appeal, you're limited in your wordplay to words like dog and house and
Yeah.
mouse, and dog is the opposite of God. And I'm kidding. You can keep on doing what you there. Everybody isn't dead that appreciates your humor yet.
Well, what the fact of the matter is, baby boomers are my people. You go outside that age group, and a lot of my stuff doesn't translate.
I don't know what my demographic is. When I do my true stories, I think 17 to 15-year-old boys like it.
Really?
And then women normally like all my sexual humor relating to punctuation.
Okay.
Yeah. Because I'm very demure about that, you know. I gotta do a stronger set next time I come out. I haven't figured out what I want it to center around.
You know what's weird? With the COVID
Oh.
and trying to recoup. And you know, my really only symptom right now is that I'm tired all the time. But I'm not actively going out looking for gigs. But I've had gigs fall in my lap, paid gigs that I'm just not going to turn down.
Fucking, you don't even fucking have a lap.
No, the funny part.
What am I doing all this work? What am I doing all this work with you for, Tom? Can I ask you something honestly? Is it that I'm really just not funny, but I'm like nice enough nobody wants to hurt my feelings? That's it, right?
Well, that might be part of it. But I think, to be very honest, I think you don't have a broad enough audience for your material. Your material, you've pigeonholed yourself to a very specific type of person that would appreciate your humor. And
people that are demented and have,
well, you know, the criminally insane,
sick,
no, seriously though,
demented, lonely people.
I don't know, you're not broad enough. If you can find a way to be broader.
I've wanted to do that, and every time I tell Stephanie I want to be broader, and she's like, "No, don't perform with that pink sequin pencil dress as Diana Ross." But I want to be broader.
Not that kind of broad. And using terms like foyer instead of foyer.
So, you know, we just had Passover, and I have been told my favorite Passover story in a long time, and it's food related. So the Passover Seder, have I told this on air?
Yes, 3 times. But go ahead.
About my uncle's advice?
Uh-huh.
Okay, then I won't tell it again. Our fans will know what it has to do with. And it is disgusting. So thank you for stopping me.
But
I've run out of stories, Tom. Over to you, Tom. And now back to our correspondent in the lawn. That's a beautiful lawn you're in, by the way.
Thank you.
Tell us, is that the Kentucky green grass?
It's bluegrass, Kentucky bluegrass, which is my favorite kind of music. It's not really, but it sounded good. And I'm trying to avoid Roundup as much as I can. That might be my next hospitalization, though.
I forget what you get from Roundup.
cancer, death.
There was a specific
Glyphosate.
there was a specific thing you get, Hodgkin's, non-Hodgkin's lymphoma
Lymphoma, yeah,
from Roundup.
right. But anyway,
Tom,
I do have a
story. I bet you could lose 17 pounds if you got.
At least. So anyway, today I called up to order my groceries for a pickup tomorrow. They have shop right at home, they call it. And you put your order in, you do it online, you set a time to pick it up, and then you pick it up at that time. Fine, simple, right? No. It took me forever to input all the things that I wanted. It was, it wasn't a big list, but it took a while to find it online because you have to go to different departments. And anyway,
I've tried. That's why I bailed on it and just went in with a mask myself.
Yeah. Well, I did that. I took the time to do it. I I set the time for tomorrow, and then it kicked me out of the system. It says that there was an error. So there, I got to start all over again. Start all over again. Put the order together again. Get to the checkout. Now, mind you, I get to the checkout, and it checks me out. Then I get 2 confirmation emails with 2 different tracking numbers. So it took it the first time and the second time, so it duplicated the order. Now what do I do? So I called Shop Right at Home, and I'm waiting in queue with 10 other customers ahead of me in line before they get to me. Now, while I'm waiting, I'm listening to their music, and I start getting phone calls. So I'm like, do I answer it? Do I put it to I end up answering the calls. They're people from work who are not supposed to be calling me because I'm not back at work yet. I don't have access to the database. I can't help them anyway. And I'm trying to explain, I got to go. Hang up. Get another call. Now I went from 10 people in queue. Now I'm down to 3 people ahead of me. Get another call. He calls up and he's saying, and by the way, that first guy was one of those slow talkers. It took him forever to get out what he was trying to say. Anyway, so the second guy calls me, and it turns out it was like a pocket dial, and it took him 20 minutes to explain that he didn't try to, and I'm trying to get him off the phone. So I hang up with him, and I accidentally hang up with Shop Right from Home. Oh. Now I got to call back. Now I got 13 people ahead of me. It took me all freaking afternoon to order my asparagus and Honeycrisp apples.
I also prepared a ranch for tonight's show. I went to buy my Scott's 4-step program, buy it all at one time. So I've got my step 1, 2, 3, and 4. And I got a coupon I got a thing for it at the local True Value, and it said whatever, $75. I'm like, that's a good buy. So I get there and I'm ringing it up and I see it says 100, and I'm like, wait, I thought I got a coupon that said something that said it was 75. And he's like, and he immediately, he has it in his hand, a $30 rebate from Scott's. And I got another $10 rebate for my GrubX. So I got this rebate form. I can do it by mail, online, or by text. But in order to complete it, I've got to enter the UPC code from each one of these bags that I've already taken out. I've moved like 30 pounds, 50 pounds of other stuff in the shelf in the garage to stack it. Step 4, step 3, step 2, my leftover step 2, 3, and 4 from last year. Then the step 1. It's all packed, and now they want fucking UPC codes for me to get a total of $40 back from what I spent. And I'm like, I gotta get, so the UPC code, it's like a 10-digit number. I gotta complete them for each one. Are you Scott's? You know something? If you're gonna be our sponsor, and we're in talk with Scott's because they've heard how beautiful my lawn is.
Why do you think I have this background?
So far, all my neighbors have asked me if if the stackings of rocks that I have are glued together.
And they're not.
They're not. They are random stacking. Tom, by the way, sometime this summer, I've been threatening to do it, but I'm finally going to have a party with some real friends in my backyard. I'm going to barbecue. Nobody's going to have to bring anything. I don't know if you'll make it to the list, but I wanted you to know I've been talking about it for so long. I'm finally going to do it.
Good. I'm glad.
And you'll make it to the list.
Well, now you're able to do stuff like that with Dad out of the picture. Hate to say.
You know, I'm going to miss that. Maybe I can get Stephanie does an incredible George Costanza's, no, who is it? Mother's voice? Wolowitz's mother's voice. So maybe I can get her to like yell out of the bedroom window. Alan! So I've probably told this story, but it's tax time. Tax time is coming up. I haven't done my taxes yet.
Doug, did you lose my picture?
No.
I lost it.
Oh, well, I can still see you. And now we can see you staring at the screen.
I can't. How do I get back?
What did you click on? It'll be minimized in the corner.
In the bottom right, I got some message of an email come in, and I went to click off on it, and I got the main Zoom screen.
So go to one of the square icons around the screen. Look at you know, when you minimize something, where does it go? Look for an icon you're unfamiliar with. Look for the video camera zoom icon. Or if not, don't worry about it, because what I'm recording, we have you visible. But
all right.
I know it would seem odd. You can stare around and be distracted by it for a while. We've got time.
Ah, I found it.
Okay. Okay, your turn. Back to you this has been Comfort Food Ping Pong with Manjeli and Max. I believe I left off with the Kugel recipe.
In my house growing up, it seems like at least once a week we used to have chicken cutlets.
Hey, wait. I want you to start with the recipe and tell the story, but I got to go and stir my bolognese. I'll be back in 1 minute.
Okay. And while Doug's out, I'll give you my mother's chicken cutlet recipe. Now, she was making chicken cutlets in the 70s when all my Jewish friends had no idea what a chicken cutlet was. And I used to bring them to lunch at school, and chicken cutlets, veal cutlets. They had no idea what they were. But it's basically just the chicken breast, sometimes pounded prior to cooking, and dipped in egg and breadcrumb, and just baked in the oven or in a fry pan. And you have your chicken cutlet. It's delicious, it's nutritious, and it was tasty. And it was always a comfort food for me because Mom used to always make it when we were sick. We were sick a lot growing up. My brother had pneumonia. I was always sick with one thing or another. Turns out I had depression. I didn't even realize it at the time.
You had what?
But,
depression?
Depression. Yeah.
Oh.
So did my mattress, by the way.
So you kept on talking while I left. What did you make? Chicken cutlet?
Chicken cutlets. And this
you
was in
the recipe again? You want to tell the story over again?
I was saying it was in the 70s when all my Jewish friends didn't know what a chicken cutlet was. It wasn't as popular in
Interesting.
Yeah, and sometimes I'd go to school with either chicken cutlets or veal cutlets, beef cutlets.
I remember being confused by, what did they call it? Some kind of fried cutlet, something steak. It was like a steak cutlet. Well,
beef cutlet.
I'm not thinking of Salisbury steak, which was kind of disgusting, but not bad. I had some of
No, we
that,
used to make beef
but
cutlets all the time.
I'm thinking it was called something else. Um, some kind of fried. It would be like breaded steak and fried. Huh. It'll come to me.
All right.
Oh, from St. Louis.
Yeah.
Chili three ways. At a place called Steak and Shake. So
Yeah.
you order it and you'd get a bowl of pasta with chili, and then you'd add what you wanted, cheese. I think I was always spaghetti with the chili and maybe cheese and onions, and there were other things you could put on, but it was an incredible chili. Um, you get a bowl of it. Uh, Great shakes. Yeah.
I never ate chili growing up. It just wasn't one of the things in
I
our
didn't either.
wheelhouse. When I hit college, though, I started making it myself, and I make a pretty good. I make three different versions of it.
Well, something, I really don't make a chili. I make a bolognese. I make, a thick meat sauce.
I'll tell you
So
what, if you do have your barbecue, I'll make a pot of chili.
so share a recipe.
All right, I have three different. I have a vegetable chili that's delicious. And I would use mushrooms and eggplants and um, oh, what would I use on my? It's been so long. Anyway, a whole bunch of different vegetables, peppers and um, oh, beans. Obviously, there's 3 or 4 different types of beans, chickpeas. Um, but you would have to have
What's the difference between like a
chickpea and a garbanzo bean.
yeah?
Go to hell.
That's funny. I thought that was one of your best lines. Somebody else did something along that line, though. I remember too.
Oh, but then I have my regular chili, which is standard with chopped meat and tomato, crushed
Tell me
tomato.
how you make that, because I'm not going to make anything with eggplant in it. So
All right, you take a big pot, little olive oil at the bottom, a lot of olive oil at the bottom, chopped garlic, brown the garlic, but don't burn it, and a little at a time you add. You want to do in a separate pan your chopped meat to leak out all the fat, drain the fat out, and just put the meat into the pot with the oil.
oh, you take the fat out?
Oh yeah,
I
yeah,
don't know about that, buddy, but
yeah,
okay.
because you got the oil as the fat in the chili. But anyway, crushed tomato, chopped jalapenos, but don't make the mistake I make every single freaking time.
Too many.
Don't rub your eyes.
I'm OCD, Tom.
I'll cut up the jalapenos. 5 minutes later, I'm rubbing my eyes and I'm writhing around blind in the kitchen, knocking things over. And then I finally get to the point where I can see through the slits of my eyes, and then I'll rub them again. I don't know, how stupid can you be? So don't do that. Some people actually wear gloves when they're chopping the jalapeno.
Can we go back to the question you just posed?
What's that? How stupid can you be?
Can you be?
Well, I'm still
Tom.
Still looking for my.
Now I'm beginning to. I'm beginning. Immediately. I'm questioning the wisdom of our relationship, Tom.
It's just habit.
Wasn't there a biblical story about babies understanding not to burn themselves? Okay, back to your recipe. So,
all right, so
we're at the
jalapenos.
jalapeno. Don't touch your eye.
Don't touch your eyes. Some people like green bell pepper. Personally, I don't like green bell pepper, but I'll put red bell pepper in.
You don't like green, but you like red.
Yeah,
which is a little sweeter.
Yeah, it's a little sweeter. It's the same fruit. It's the same vegetable. It's just ripened longer.
Tom, can I ask you something? Like when
Sure.
you're cooking this, after you've prepared the jalapeno, if you're like kind of itchy down, and you happen does the Is it bad with the jalapeno? Do you know?
Um, well, that's a loaded question. It depends how much you use, and there's two kinds of jalapeno peppers. One is not hot at all, and the other one is super hot. So I use the one
I
that's
know
not that
you've
hot.
performed at places with strippers, and I'm sure you heard one of them giving you a trick to provide you pleasure with Tabasco, and I won't say anything more about it because it's kind of disgusting. Perfectly good condiment. You can't even you can't even use it, because if you use it, you're going to be thinking about how some people use that condiment. Like,
They
no,
put
it does. It doesn't go there.
they put the condom in condiment. So anyway, you get your peppers. Uh, oh, I like to use like 2 or 3 kinds of kidney beans. Like there's a dark red, there's a light red, and then there's like the pinto bean. And the beans make the dish. And then you need a lot of chili pepper, chili powder,
Chili powder.
more than you would think to make it taste good. Garlic powder.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'll use onion flakes.
Oh yeah, you haven't like sautéed onions and added them with the red pepper, and we haven't done any cooking yet, Tom. You've got the meat sautéing in one pan separately, and then all I've got is we left off with the garlic.
Right.
So then you add your crushed tomato, bring it to heat, add jalapeno, the red bell pepper,
Right.
dark and light red beans, the pinto bean.
I put the I put the chopped meat in before I put all the vegetables. And when you brown it in the pan, you don't do it all the way. Do it like 3/4 of the way, because it's going to continue to cook in the chili.
Yeah.
Just enough to leach out the fat. And of course you can use other chopped meats, like you said before, with the veal and the lamb. And then the last thing I add is the beans. And as you're cooking, you're going to add the spices, and keep stirring and keep it on a low flame. You don't want to put it on a high flame. And just let it get to the point where it just bubbles.
As you're talking about that, and I'm thinking, this is a comedy show. It's a recipe that's not so funny. But then I thought, what meat could you add to this that would make it funny? Like, if you added a fish instead of ground beef, it would be disgusting, right?
Yeah. Although that's an interesting concept of fish chili.
Well,
they have fish tacos.
I think you'd make it more like a ceviche or something.
Yeah.
Like a salsa.
Like
with chopped up fish. But I prefer my fish not being a paste, unless it's anchovy paste.
Well, I'll tell you, I can see cubed tuna, fresh tuna, making a good chili. But you can't put it in too soon, because you don't want to overcook the tuna.
See, now I made tuna for the lovely and scintillating Stephanie the other night. I overdid it a little bit, and I'm sorry, honey, if you're listening. I always guard myself like she's listening. I know she's not listening.
Why should she listen?
If she's not listening, yeah, why should she? Anyway, I do not care for fish.
Really?
My doctor told me I should. I like, honestly, I've eaten a lot of salmon, and Stephanie, I used to make salmon for both of us, so we'd have a shared eating experience. But then I just I'm going to get a steak and I'll get salmon for her, and it's been salmon.
I could eat fish every day. I love fish, all kinds of fish. And Italians, we eat some weird fish, octopus, squid.
How do you look in a short skirt?
What?
How do you look in a short skirt? Never mind.
I don't get that one.
Because I'll make all this stuff for Stephanie. She likes fish a lot. I'm just.
Trust me, you don't want to see me in a short skirt. Although I made a lot of cookie sales that summer.
I'm thinking that would be a great outfit for you to wear a mini skirt as we walk down the floats to the rowboat.
Oh yeah.
That would be a funny scene. How should I dress for our crabbing, Tom? It'll be August, so it'll be warm.
It'll be warm.
But I don't want to get sunburned thighs.
I'd go with the standard t-shirt and pair of shorts, maybe cargo shorts because they go down lower. Pair of deck shoes or sneakers.
You made me remember a really funny joke. And tell me if I've done this. It's from the album You Don't Have to Be Jewish. It's so it begins within a prison. And the prison guard saying, "Okay, you three, you violated the prison rules. We caught you trying to escape. So the warden told me each one of you is to get 3 lashes. But we're merciful here. Each of you is allowed to have something put on his back to relieve the pain. Okay. Murphy, you're first. What do you want on your back?" "Nothing." "Okay, Murphy." "Snap." "Okay, that's 1. Snap." Murphy goes, "That's 2. Snap." Another whip. Murphy goes, "That's 3. Okay. All right. Mortimer, you're up next. What do you want on your back?" "I want some oil." "Okay, smother some oil on his back." "Smother some oil." "Okay, Murphy, here you go." Snap. "Ah, the pain, the pain." 2 more snaps and he screams, "Ah, ah." All right, Cohen, you're next. What do you want on your back? "On my back, I want Murphy."
That's funny. I never heard that one.
And it wasn't me, but I referenced, I believe I'm allowed to steal the humor if I'm remembering from the album I heard 40 years ago. Does that count? And I referenced it.
That's
You don't
good.
have to be just a great album, Tom. I
Yeah.
loved it. Mom, isn't it great? John Glenn just went around the earth 3 times. Big deal. You got money, you travel.
Funny stuff.
So we've only got a few minutes to kill, Tom. So,
Really?
So I don't know if it's enough time for you to tell us where the fans of Tom Mangelli can see. You're going to be at the Famous Comedy Cove.
Famous Comedy Cove this Friday and Saturday.
Springfield, New Jersey. Please go to the comedy website, Scotty's. Go to the Facebook page, Scotty's Comedy Cove.
Or Scotty'sSteakhouse.com.
Or Scotty'sSteakhouse.com, or call.
I don't know the number.
Call them. Find the number first. Make a reservation.
I'll be opening for Doug Karp, very funny headliner. And
Doug Karp, very, very funny guy who was on our show recently. Of course, will never be on our show again.
Why? Why do you say that?
Because he came on our show, and you're opening for him.
Yeah, but he didn't get me the job. Gene Nagel did.
If Gene would have gone to Doug and said, "What do you think of Tom Mangelli?" and he said, "I would far prefer Doug Max." So when are the shows, Tom?
I have Friday, April 30th. I'm going to be hosting at Lorita Winery in New Egypt, New Jersey. That's where I had to cancel because of COVID last week or 2 weeks ago. And I'm going to be opening for Joe Fernandez and Buddy Harris, both very popular Philly comics. So I'm looking forward to that. And I have another show in July. It's a private event in Point Pleasant. It was the one that I had a year ago that they had to cancel.
Remember.
They called me back.
Good. Nice.
And then the only other one is October 9th, which happens to be my birthday, at Brook Theater in Bound Brook. I'm opening for Uncle Floyd, Julia Scotti, and hosting will be Steve Trevelise of New Jersey 101.5.
Where is that, Tom?
That's Bound Brook, the Brook Theater.
I'm very jealous of you. Would you be upset if I came to that show?
No, I'd love it.
And was the guy in the back crying the entire time?
The guy in the back.
You wouldn't love that.
You know, that's an interesting.
Who's that guy crying? Doug. Doug wondering.
You know, what's funny is last, well, it must have been 2 years ago, Floyd and Julia and Steve were putting the show on. So I went just to watch. And they let me come in the green room to hang out with Floyd and the other two. And we're bullshitting. And then Steve says, "Hey, you want a guest spot?" I said, "Sure." So he gave me 5 minutes, and I did well. And I guess I'm on his radar now for that show from now
on. I've performed. I've opened for Julia, and it's an honor. I love her. I really do.
She's great.
Although it kind of pisses me off how great she is, so naturally.
She makes it look easy.
She does.
That's the mark of a good comic.
Well, I think she makes it look so easy. I'm gonna criticize her and say I think she's natural at it, and it pisses me off.
She is a natural.
One of my favorite videos of her was a car. She was videotaping herself complaining about a car not stopping when it should have stopped.
Uh-huh.
And she was ranting. When you get to a stop sign, stop!
You stop! Well, my favorite.
Julia Scotti, for those listening, if you're not familiar, look up Julia Scotti, Scotti. I'm sure it's juliascotti.com. She is a wonderful New Jersey comedian. I can think of other comics. I can't think of anybody that's a better comic. There are other comics around that I love equally. But they're none better than her. Except for maybe there was I was going really strong for like between 30 and 40 seconds, one set, where I felt that kind of power, Tom.
Yeah.
It was people were laughing for no fucking reason at all. Well, what are you laughing? Are you people even listening? What are you, idiots? And then thank God the laughing died out.
Yeah, who wants that old set?
Tom, how often do you get distracted by people laughing at the wrong time?
I try to set up a constant laugh throughout the set. So very, very rarely.
So, but, and I get it. I get it in a lot of the wrong places. And and I'll get it like I've never gotten it there. Every time I do a set and I do a story that I've done, and now it's funny to think of it, but now I've done some of these stories 100 times easily. And somebody will laugh between words. And I'm like, what are they catching up from behind? Are they anticipating where I'm going? And it's all good. It's all good. I love it.
Oh, it's all definitely any laugh thing is good.
Yeah, of course.
But you have to know that you're the type of comic that a lot of what people find funny is your character and your antics and your.
No, but that's because people, these fucking morons, they think it's a character.
They don't really.
Hang on, Tom.
Where the hell did you go?
I had to turn the modem up.
Oh. But I think
the ground is Tom.
I think when sometimes when people laugh with your set, it's like
Not because of anything I've said, Doug.
it's
It's
the
because of the way you look.
the visual has like caught up with them.
I will tell you that there are times that I listen to my set on video and also and hearing my voice over, YouTube or whatever it is, it's very different than what the audience must be hearing. And I think it loses some of the emotion. So some of my video sets really do appear flatter in some cases. It's like it's inexplicable why people are laughing,
Uh,
but there's something the audio is cutting out. I don't know what it is, but
Hmm.
when I hit the big time and get good video, maybe it'll make a difference.
oh, you'll appreciate this story. I'm in the process of finally cleaning out my apartment and uh, getting rid of a lot of stuff and purging and redecorating. So I've been at this consignment shop and I saw a sign that says weight limit 4 tons, a big road sign. So I bought it and I'm going to put it above my bed. Weight limit 4 tons. But I told the woman at the place, I says, I do stand-up comedy. I'm thinking when I do my first comedy special, I'm going to have this hanging in the background.
Oh, Tom, that's perfect. How big of a sign is it?
It's pretty big. It's
And it's plastic rolled up?
No, it's metal. It's a real street sign.
How did you get it home? It fit in your car?
Actually, Thursday, I'm having a friend help me take that, and there's 2 pieces of furniture I bought also.
How are you going to take it to your comedy? Oh, when you get to your comedy show,
Not for a show. If I ever do a special,
when you do your
comedy special,
you'll have people to do that for you.
Right. So if I should live that long,
Tom, that's a great name for your special. Weight limit 4 tons.
And on my birth certificate, it says my name is Tom, but it's actually a misspelling. It's supposed to be ton.
Good one. Good one. So I'm not sure, Tom, but I believe we've come close to fulfilling our obligation of blabbing for about an hour.
Wow. Much to the chagrin of our 2 listeners.
I was thinking in preparation for the show too, it's probably good that people that don't know, you and I used to talk like every day.
Several times a day.
And it was getting to be too much. I'm like, oh, fuck. And I'm sure you had the same feeling. No, I'm kidding. But simply from going every 2 weeks to every week, it's like, let's not blow it by talking. If we're going to be funny, let's be, let's
spontaneous.
Yeah. And get a show out of it at the same time. So, so to all our friends listening who are in pain, brighter days are coming. You'll be able to go out, you'll be able to assemble, you'll be able to see people more comfortably and safely. Please get your vaccine and don't fall prey to idiots that believe it's a way the government is injecting a thought control device into you, Tom. There are people that believe this.
I know. Yeah, they have other reasons too, but
there are other reasons too.
But anyway, I see things brightening up as far as loosening up the restrictions, and people are thrilled about that. I think that they should
opening. Yep.
Yep. I saw a post today on Facebook about a bar allowing seating at the bar. I don't know what state it was in though.
Anyway,
but
I know that Broadway and Greenwich Village Comedy Club have begun doing shows in New York. And I'm grateful to have some friends that are putting on some shows, so I might sidle up alongside of them and actually perform.
Yeah.
And in the meantime, if anybody happens to be a producer and for some reason listen this far, I'm available for booking. I've got my 2 shots. I'm very friendly. I'm reliable. My car starts. If we become friends, I'll let you use my garage and tools and do some work on your car. I've got to keep it secret that I know about cars because more and more people have been calling me up and going, Doug, blah, 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 blah. Like, oh, yeah, okay, come over. I've never done it, but what's the worst that can happen? You live in my basement for a week while we figure it out. Anyway, Tom, I'm going to have a party, probably to celebrate my 65th birthday, actually.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Yeah,
Was
I'll
that
do it. I
March?
think late May.
May.
Late May. So,
just don't
yeah,
do it Memorial
I guess
Day
you're invited, unless you're doing a show. And if you're doing the show, I'm going to ask you how much you're making, and I might match the offer. And then you can say, "Excuse me, but I got a birthday party I can go to that pays me that crap."
I will make my chili for your party.
Okay. Don't rub your eyes.
I won't.
And remember, people or person, as the case may be, if you love comedy and you would like to actually produce a show yourself for yourself or your organization that you love, write to Jack at jirwinproductions.com and he will hook you up with, he has a wonderful bullpen of probably every New Jersey comic who knows and loves him.
Yep.
And he can assemble a repertoire comedy group that you would love. Undoubtedly would not have me on it. Tom, I'm going to reflect seriously on the advice that you gave me after being my close personal friend for 8 years. Thank you for finally sharing that. Doug, maybe you don't want to go after, just appeal to that one prevert in the audience.
See, I think it's a marketing problem. You're marketing yourself wrong. Instead of a stand-up comic and stand-up comedy, you should project that you do stand-up tragedy. This way you lower the bar, lower the expectations.
Meanwhile, my life bereft of hope because I got to fill out Scott's fucking. Look at what I have to do. Look at what I have to fill out. Look at the fine that. You see this? That in the bottom, that's where they get the house. And implant GPS chips in your body.
Well, at 1 o'clock tomorrow, I'll find out how many separate orders ShopRite has for me to pick up.
Tom, I haven't gone food shopping, so if you have extras, I'll consider driving 2.5 hours to relieve you of the. How far are you from Scotty's?
From Scotty's, about an hour.
Really? You're that close? Yeah. Oh, you drive 85.
Yes, I drive 85. Now, I didn't tell you last week when I put my order in with ShopRite, I got the whole order in, and then I realized they wanted me to pick it up in Warwick, New York, at the ShopRite. I'm like, how the hell did I get Warwick, New York?
Oh my God! I used to go to camp in Warwick, New York, Tom. I was the director of maintenance at Kutz Camp in Warwick, New York.
Really?
They had a bar there that had something called an Ashley Bass Hole. An Ashley Bass Hole. And when you started mispronouncing it, they'd cut you off.
That's funny.
It is funny. That's what I remember from that time. So thank you. That was a fond memory. Not as fond as the time that I drove the tractor, a 17-year-old Jewish boy, director of maintenance. I drove a tractor. It got stuck in the mud. So I'm I'm smart, savvy. I didn't want to admit I fucked up. So I put it was stuck in the mud. I put it in reverse and I planned, I'm going to push it, hop on really quick and stop it after it gets stuck.
Shit.
Put it in reverse, get out, push it. It gets unstuck. Oh, fuck. It ran over a chain link fence, dropped into like a 4-foot deep end of the swimming pool.
Oh!
There was no water in it at the time, thank God.
Oh, wow. That's a funny story.
This is why Jews should, I was a licensed home improvement contractor. We shouldn't be handymen, but I learned by doing stupid stuff like that to anticipate. That was a very formative lesson about thinking ahead. Because the picture in my mind, although I didn't get at the time that I nearly blew up the house, but thank God only ended up debilitating my legs for life.
How did you do that?
Didn't I ever tell you that story?
No.
My son, who was my youngest, who was a really, really great skateboarder, was watching a video and a guy like skateboarded
you did
over
that.
a ramp and it exploded.
Yeah,
you remember that story?
Yeah,
so I filled up a little gully like with an ounce of gasoline and lit it, and the flame shot up a foot, and he skateboarded over it, and I go, would you like it to be a little bit bigger? So I'm holding the gas can, thinking I'm going to splash a little bit into that because it was still burning and it would just go up. But it was like in the Die Hard movie. I went to splash a little bit and cut it off, but the flames carried back up, and now the gas can has flames shooting out of it. It's a 2.5 gallon I just filled up from the gas station.
Oh my God.
I'm running around with it thinking, I'm trying to splash it out, thinking the splashing it out will put out the flames. But
shit.
It's splashing flames, liquid flames all around on the driveway. I'm looking, my son is close to the house, and it's a house, so I can't be there. And then his stupid friend who was videotaping him skateboarding, but isn't videotaping now, is over there, so I can't go there. So I leave the gas can. Finally, 90% of the driveway is filled with flames. I'm running through it to get the water that I had anticipated and planned ahead. I filled up a gallon of sprinkler of water, a bucket, 2.5 gallon thing of water. I had a hose too, but anyway, thank God the gas can didn't explode, because I'm thinking this thing is going to explode, and I can't kill my son. Fuck, I can't kill his friend either. So it's going to be, if his friend wasn't there, I would have been done,
Now you realize it's not the liquid gas that's flammable, it's the fumes.
I know. I learned.
Yes.
But I didn't know that at the time. I thought, oh, fuck. I'm holding a 2.5 gallon of gasoline, and it's got, the spout came up, like a foot, and it's burning like a torch.
Yikes.
And I didn't know that would not explode. As soon as I splashed it with water, it went out. And then I started dousing the flames out around the driveway. And to this day, it could be 15 years later, I have very little hair on my leg.
Oh, wow. And that's the reason?
Yeah.
Wow.
So I guess our time is done, but I was getting all these problems with the Better Business Bureau when I put an ad in the local paper for flaming depilation as a service. I was for $49.95. People would come over to the house. I'd spill gasoline on it. It'd drizzle down to the bottom of the driveway. I'd ignite it. They'd run through, and they wouldn't have to shave their legs for 10, 15 years.
That's terrible.
You got to cut it right between. You got to cut it off right at the point where the hair is gone and the skin. I didn't really suffer any burns, so it's the speed is the matter. Is the
right? Yeah. Well, thanks for that nugget.
Tom, I'm thinking there are a lot of guys with like hairy backs. You could get them on a the slope was steep enough and you could get their speed rolling fast enough. You could debilitate their entire body without burning anything. We'd give them like flameproof shorts or something.
This
Don't
is like
laugh. Don't
like
laugh.
the Michael Jackson Pepsi commercial.
Don't laugh. This is a Shark Tank. Hey, sharks.
Pyroelectrolysis.
Don't laugh, Tom. This is a viable idea. We just need a good name for it. Debilitation and flames.
You're a whack job. You realize that.
I love you, buddy.
Until next time, this has been Funny Talk with Mangelli and Max. I'm Tom Mangelli. This here's Doug Max.
I'm sorry, but I am. Okay, Tom, it was good talking to you, buddy.
You too. See you soon.